He had no idea where these drones are coming from. Not only did I call for a limited state of emergency and the FAA shutting down the airspace for drones, but also having the Department of Defense come in and answer questions. If the Department of Defense doesn't know where the origins are for these so-called drones, then we're in trouble. We always thought that if there was something in the air the size of a car, that the Department of Defense would know where it came from, what its origin was, and what its purpose was.
Is the DoD really in the dark on this issue? Or are there levels of classification preventing the public from seeing the full picture? Juanita Broderick shares this. This is what's floating around on other social media about drones. Anyone else know about it? It's a post, copy and paste from RRN comment section. The drones over the East Coast aren't Iranian or ETs. The drones are ours. They're sniffers. They're desperately trying to find nuclear material because the deep state is planning a FF with a dirty bomb on or before the DJT inauguration. The wild conflicting fairy tales in MSM are to conceal the truth. They fear a panicked exodus from the East Coast if the sheeple know the truth. Spread the truth. Cause a panic they cannot ignore. Force their hand. Make them acknowledge the truth. A trusted source shared this article. Suspected Ts illegally entering the US up over 2,500% under Biden from the Trump era. From the Daily Caller News Foundation, the number of suspected bad people entering illegally into U.S. spiked over 2,500% since the previous administration. Border Patrol agents apprehended 267 individuals fiscal year 2021 and 2024 whose names appeared on the T Bad Person Watch list, according to the latest data released by the CBP. The number marks a roughly 2,521% increase from the 14 suspected T bad people caught between ports of entry in the fiscal years 2017 to 2020. The source shared this article from Design World. Drone of the Week. Bomb-sniffing UAVs can detect nuclear weapons. Researchers at the University of Wisconsin-Madison's Fusion Technology Lab have devised a system that, when attached to a series of unmanned aerial vehicles, can detect nuclear and chemical weapons. In other words, scientists have invented bomb-sniffing drones. The technology actually integrates several aircraft, each with an indispensable function to the overall system. A relay drone hovers in the air, while a device drone on the ground generates electricity and turns it into radio waves. These waves are then beamed up to the relay drone, which converts them back into electricity and then back to radio waves again before beaming them down to power a neutron drone. The neutron drone irradiates the ground with neutrons, activating the nitrogen and any potential explosives. The regulating gamma waves are then picked up by 2 to 3 sensor drones, which can identify the explosive chemical signature, marking its location within 1 foot and alerting mission control. So does that relate to what this Anon poster is trying to say? Some DS, bad actors, migrated across the border with illicit nuclear materials, and so now we need drones to sniff up the bombs and foil their terror plots. And so here we have a clip from Ashton Forbes. Wow, I wish there were more context in a short clip. I hope a news station would know if they're zooming in on a star versus a drone.
Seems everyone starts to look up, like my crew and I have been here in Mendham recording this video that you're looking at right now. We have no idea what it is, if it's a natural phenomenon, because it could be, but this is why so many municipalities are now asking people to reach out and send their videos to them or to experts.
If this is in fact a star, this could be a portion of the PSYOP plot to distract the public with the concept of UFOs rather than national defense against bad actors.
Let's think about it for a second. There's decades of silence on UFOs, and now suddenly the government is obsessed with talking about them. I want to show you exactly tonight what the plans and motivations are if this is being done on purpose. And then I want to walk you through a foolproof way on how to spot public manipulation. I'm also maybe going to talk about what to do if it's actually aliens.
Chase Hughes, planned event, The Truth About NJ's Drone UFOs. This is a clip from his program.
But what could be next? What could be down the pipeline from right now? If we follow this theory to the logical next step here, here's what might happen. First would be escalating UFO reports. They expect a lot more sightings, near misses with airplanes, mysterious objects interfering with infrastructure like power grids or airports. It's going to feel real and urgent. The next would be a media blitz that would come after that. So mainstream media will amplify the story. They're going to interview pilots. They're going to release grainy videos and have experts explain these things that are maybe defying physics. The goal, potentially, and I say all of this as a potential hypothetical, to make everybody believe this is a huge deal. Next would be a global event, and this could be something absolutely wild, like some kind of coordinated UFO appearance, maybe a simulated attack, or even some claim that we've made contact. And it doesn't have to be real, it just has to be believable enough. And of course, then we have a solution. So after the chaos, governments might roll out solutions like new defense initiatives, new military spending, government coalitions, governments kind of coming together, expanded surveillance maybe, and calls for like some international cooperation.
Makes sense.
One of their officers called 911 after seeing 50 of them come off the ocean.
Advised after we made contact with that officer that there were 50 that came off the ocean.
50?
50. That was my reaction also. There were 50 that were coming off the ocean.
And this is a sworn officer?
A sworn officer, yes. We contacted the state police, we contacted the FBI, we contacted the Coast Guard, at which point the Coast Guard went out with their boat and they reported seeing 13 following their boat. And then the Coast Guard also advised that they went over them about 300 feet and had a wingspan of about 8 feet.
You know, the Ocean County Sheriff, that drone unit, they have an industrial grade drone. They put it up. They were tracking one of these drones, Elizabeth, and they said this thing easily evaded them, disappeared out of thin air. So, you know, to me, it's if this is not our military.
Shocking. The drone disappeared out of thin air. So, the trusted source mentioned before also told me that drones have already been developed that utilize adaptive invisibility. Here's a phys.org article from May of this year, designing a drone that uses adaptive invisibility towards autonomous sea, land, air cloaks. Despite decades of research and emergence of numerous invisibility cloak prototypes, achieving an aero-amphibious cloak capable of manipulating electromagnetic scattering in real time against ever-changing landscapes remains a formidable challenge. The hurdles are multifaceted, ranging from need of complex, amplitude, tunable metasurfaces to the absence of intelligent algorithms capable of addressing inherent issues such as non-uniqueness and incomplete inputs. Addressing these challenges head-on, a team at Zhejiang University, China, unveiled a self-driving, cloaked, unmanned drone. This drone seamlessly integrates perception, decision-making, and execution functionalities. The key lies in spatial temporal modulation applied to reconfigurable metasurfaces, enabling customization of scattered fields across space and frequency domains. To power this innovation, they propose a generation elimination neural network, also known as stochastic evolution learning. This network globally guides the spatial temporal metasurfaces, automatically seeking optimal solutions with maximal probabilistic interference, thus resolving the one-to-many issues inherent in inverse design. In a groundbreaking experiment, the team implemented this concept on an unmanned drone platform, demonstrating adaptive invisibility across 3 canonical landscapes: sea, land, and air. I wonder if this orb effect could at all involve this adaptive technology. Stacy Blu-ray states that she had seen 2 drones go by, and here's footage of that. President Donald Trump, 47, stated on his Truth Social account, "Mystery drone sightings all over the country. Can this really be happening without our government's knowledge? I don't think so. Let the public know, and now. Otherwise, shoot them down. DJT." So it may be perceived by some that this is a bit of a public distancing of Trump from intimate knowledge of the situation. It's possible he could have been briefed to some extent regarding the drones. The otherwise shoot them down creates a distance between Trump and the intimate knowledge that the drones could represent a higher protective function of our military. This poster states the drones are morphing into aircraft. I acknowledge that this could be a type of resolution error of the camera used. Just scrolling through this, you see an orb transform into some type of aircraft. Here's a statement from the Warren County Police Chiefs Association in Stewartsville, New Jersey. Drone activity in Warren County. Warren County Chiefs Association would like to address the Warren County residents on recent drone activity Since the middle of November, we have all seen a multitude of drones flying over our critical infrastructure, homes, and businesses here within Warren County. Police have taken your calls for concerns and honestly have not been able to provide a sufficient answer to ease your minds. We assure you that the police community is just as frustrated with the lack of transparency from the federal and state officials. We have been asked by federal and state officials to complete a survey questionnaire for every drone sighting and have complied with those requests. We are shocked by the lack of response or update from federal and state officials. We do not agree with their response that there is no known threat to the public at this time. It is our stance that just the unidentified drone flying over us is a threat in of itself. We can tell you that we have been in contact with the Senator Doug Steinhardt and other Warren County local officials. Senator Steinhardt has been very vocal at the state and federal level demanding answers for our residents. We completely agree and back Senator Steinhardt in his demands to have answers for you. Our citizens of Warren County, we encourage all to continue to report your sightings to us and be vocal about your concerns to federal and state officials and demand answers. Chief Scott Robb, President. So I do believe that the number of public statements from officials is one factor that makes this situation a bit unprecedented. Just 2 days ago, we received another report of mysterious lights at 50,000 feet, which baffle Oregon pilots.
We're as necessary left and right to avoid the UFO out there.
This is Joe communicating with air traffic control while he was piloting that live flight call to the North Bend, Coos Bay area. And the UFO in question, if you look closely on your screen, that little red dot that floats in and out of the video.
That was the one that was at our altitude that would come up to us and sit for about 3 to 5 seconds, and then it would go back out over the ocean, over the horizon.
He and his crew witnessed this mysterious object continue this odd behavior from more than 20 miles away for about 20 minutes total. This came after a United Airlines flight reported seeing similar mysterious objects zipping through the sky, ranging between 30,000 and 50,000 feet in altitude.
We're seeing 3 or 4 targets. You know, they're all altitudes, up and down. It's pretty crazy.
One researcher suggests it's a light bouncing off a Starlink satellite over the Pacific Ocean, catching the eye of pilots, something that's reportedly happened before. But Joe says this ain't that.
As far as the UFO media concern goes, we can't rule out standalone complexes. What I mean by that is that events occur, locals react naturally with their givens concerning the likelihood of the cause, and the higher ups at these news stations egg on these UFO theories, knowing that's what the public is more likely to easily understand, and through fear provide increased viewership to the news networks. A post by Theoretical C-Words, he notes that our 17 friend back in January 22nd, 2018 stated that the purpose of drones over the US is for tracking only. Disclosed.tv noted that there were some drones sighted over US Ramstein Air Base and sensitive industry locations in Germany recently, per Reuters. To this I say the deep state has the whole world to use as a chessboard to sustain the advantages of the current status quo to itself. To give you a sense of the scope of the deep state's battle against the US and specifically against the West's traditional Christian values, let's look at this clip from a Sean Ryan Show episode recently uploaded titled "Sarah Adams is the Pentagon Ignoring the Most Dangerous Threat of All." Scholars have theorized that much of the rise of Al-Qaeda was related to blowback caused by the intervention of CIA and other agencies. Interestingly, Sarah Adams is of CIA, but she warns us of Al-Qaeda's current plans.
But it's just, Al-Qaeda has all these waves of attacks planned, okay? If you've read our October 7th Know Thy Enemy report, you know this all started with the Hamas attacks, right? That was one of Al-Qaeda's planned attacks, and we can talk more about that one later. So they have kind of like these waves against Israel. And then they have like waves against Europe, waves against us, waves to create the Islamic Caliphate, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of the African plotting, for example, is the waves to create the Islamic Caliphate. So the Islamic Caliphate is basically obviously Afghanistan, Syria. That's why they've trained a lot. What's going on right now, Iraq. They're in a dream world. They have India on it, and then it's like all of North Africa. And then in the future phase, it then goes up into Spain, right? Like in the olden days. So it's just all their plots they have in place to put into motion these elements. And so their embassy plots, for example, are they have some in Africa. and then they have some in Europe, and then they have some in the Middle East, all for a different purpose. The Middle East is to push us out for the caliphates. The Africa is to push us out for the caliphates, and then the Europe, right, is just to go after, and then that'll go in with the homeland attack too, but the Europe is just to target the US for its involvement in the Middle East.
Do they have a priority list?
They don't exactly have a priority list. Like, they're all waves and some can be concurrent. What matters is how long it takes to train attackers, right? So the Hamas attacks was like less than 1,500 guys, right? They actually initially planned to train them from August 7th, 2022 to October 7th, 2022. They ended up pushing the attack a year, and so they ended up with more training, which helped the attackers because of Zawahiri's assassination. So then the U.S. homeland, for example, they want to use 1,000 terrorists, right? So that took time to put the 1,000 through the pipeline. Syria, they trained 10,000 terrorists to send to Syria.
Very interestingly, the Department of Defense put out this message on December 12th, a series of letters that appears to be a typo. Very easy to speculate that it may be a ciphered message to a specific group, or it may be a part of a psychological operation to stir public angst and worry about the competence of the DoD to protect the public from foreign invaders. Careful work to shape emotional tone around this event, or maybe a disgruntled employee. Of course, the story is still developing, but my take is, like Trump, I agree the Pentagon likely knows exactly what's going on. Thank you for watching this content. Please like and subscribe to help get it out there in the algorithm. Hope you all have a nice day. Peace.